Troy.
Thought I'd check it this time. Good evening, everyone. On tonight's agenda, there's a resolution that authorizes the NIMS, known as the National Incident Management System, as the basis for all incident management in our school district 271. This is a one-page overview of the NIMS, maybe I'll just say NIMS, to establish it as the district standard for incident management. A quick glance at the genesis of NIMS began with the 9/11 terrorist attacks, which spawned the Department of Homeland Security. This now oversees FEMA. Next came the 9/11 Commission, which in turn prompted the Presidential Directive HSPD-5 for the management of domestic incidents. In 2004, NIMS was created and is now under the guidance of FEMA through Homeland Security. Fast forward to October of 2021, when our Attorney General sent a memo to the FBI and U.S. states' attorneys to address a perceived spike in the intimidation of public school staff, including school boards. So what began as our response to the 9/11 terrorist attacks has now mutated into a response to parents and other stakeholders involved in any domestic incident, regardless of cause, size, or complexity. Think about that. Size might be one person. Cause may be as simple as slapping a podium or banging on a door, and complexity may be simply a non-response by the district. You've heard me say incident a number of times. It's woven throughout all of this information. Who defines incident? What is the definition of an incident? Who reports an incident? Or more precisely, a domestic incident, in reference to the first paragraph of tonight's resolution. A cursory glance at the playbook for NIMS contains 32 mission areas and core capabilities that requires over 1,300 pages and a glossary of over 700 terms used throughout. Who in our school district is responsible for understanding and managing NIMS as the district standard for incident management as stated in tonight's resolution? This is a bureaucratic quagmire. No wonder the resolution includes, quote, ability to utilize federal funding, unquote. I believe incidents are handled locally by the community itself with the aid of local law enforcement as needed, unless there is a disaster. An incident is a local issue. To wrap up, have there already been any workshops and special meetings to address this resolution? If there have been, they did not include 60% of the current board members. I believe the board should review the resolution's breadth, scope, effectiveness, costs, and unintended consequences to the schools and the community. Thank you all.
And we'll be talking more about that a little bit later. Mr. Howard Coons.
Good evening. I'm here tonight to speak about my concerns of Portrait of a Graduate. There is a lot of mention of three particular things: diversity, equity, and inclusion. I see diversity as putting people into categories and then focusing on their differences, which is the exact opposite of the idea of the American melting pot. When you focus on the differences in people, you effectively extinguish the flame under the melting pot. That's not what we want to do. Equity kind of goes hand in hand with diversity because it doesn't treat people equally. What it does is it looks at the category that you're in and then treats you differently in order so that you can get an equal outcome. I don't think that's what we want to do either. Inclusion, what's that all about? Well, I think in the actual working out of your idea of inclusion, what you're doing is you're forcing everyone to accept deviant sexual behavior. That's really about all I have to say. Some of you on the board were not here when this was promoted. I hope that you will revisit it and do away with Portrait of a Graduate. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coons. And we'll be talking about Portrait of a Graduate later this evening. Stacey Gotcher.
Hello. Need a little golden path for people to walk here. I'm Stacey Gotcher, Coeur d'Alene. Welcome to the new board members. Congratulations. I'm talking about the Resolution 21-22-002, authorization of authorizes the National Incident Management System, NIMS, as the basis for all incident management in the Coeur d'Alene Public School District. I don't really know how to top Mr. McCollum, but all I can say is this aligns our district. It allows them to use the Department of Homeland Security procedures to rule over our local incidents, regardless of cause, size, and complexity. We all know the Biden administration has labeled parents standing up and speaking out at school board meetings as domestic terrorists. And given that some of the district staff and local press fed the falsehood that angry mobs attacked school board members last year and villainized parents simply using bullhorns so they could be able to speak to attendees, this resolution seems very dangerous to parents wanting to express views that may differ from those of the district or the board. The resolution is written to approve tonight is vague and does not have any specific clarification as to the definitions of incidents and appears to umbrella it all under the federal government guidelines not disclosed to us. In the interest of transparency, please do not approve this resolution at this time until further clarification and disclosure is provided to parents, the community, as to what NIMS entails, or this division is going to continue. Thank you. Oh, and do something for the maintenance guys.
Thank you, Stacey. Meagan Slawson.
Hello, my name is Meagan Slawson, and I'm a resident of Coeur d'Alene. And welcome, new board members, and congratulations. And congratulations, Chairwoman Smith, for coming back, being voted back. I just wanted to also speak on the Resolution 21-22-002, authorizing National Incident Management Systems. When I saw this on the agenda, and I'm assuming that it would be voted on because it says authorizing, I had questions come to my mind. I started to do a little bit of research this afternoon, and this is just like, I don't know, 10 minutes of printing stuff out in regards to this NIMS and what it entails. So 3 questions. Why now? It's been around since 2004. Why are you wanting to implement it now? In going through what I researched, it is connected to, and school districts are required to implement NIMS and ICS, which is the Incident Command System, when they received monies, certain monies, emergency preparedness monies. So that's my question. Is that why? Was that a string that was attached to those monies? And if so, what other strings are attached? As a parent in the school district, I want to know. What does the incident command system look like here in Coeur d'Alene in District 271? How much power would the federal acronym groups have here in Coeur d'Alene? How much power? They're also laid out, you have your incident commander. Who's going to appoint the incident commander? Who's that going to be? And then there's 6 other people underneath that incident commander. Who are they? Who are they going to be? Third question is, what is an incident? The government website on FEMA says that NIMS is anything from car accidents to natural disasters. That's pretty broad and pretty vague, and I think it's vague on purpose. And there's an incident complexity guide. Actually, that's one of the printouts that I have here. Incident complexity guide. This was a little concerning because it's type 1 through type 5, and type 1 is the most complex, and a pandemic was listed as an example in that one. And according to some leaders, we're still in a pandemic. So you implement this, what does that mean? What does that look like here? So I guess just in closing, don't authorize this now. There's going to be a lot of questions from parents as to what this means. And like 3 of the trustees, they're brand new. Like, how much have you read about everything that it entails? It's crazy the amount of pages. And this is just like 10 minutes of me printing stuff out. So that's all I ask, just as a parent and as a resident here in this beautiful community of Coeur d'Alene. Just hold off a little bit if you can, and also let us know if this is because of money that was granted by the federal government. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. Randy Neal.
Hello, Randy Neal, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. A lot of the former speakers have kind of stolen my thunder. So I'm going to go to something that I found on the CDAschools.org. Keeping that in focus, and I quote, has been a challenge at time when public education in this country is under attack. We are seeing that up close here in Coeur d'Alene. Now, what the school district falsely labels as attacks is actually the parents and the community very articulately and credibly laying out their viewpoints and making a very sound argument for things that they don't want to see in our school district. We are in a representative government. This board represents we the people, and when the people tell you that they don't want Portrait of a Graduate, when the people tell you that they don't want our kids in masks because the sociological and psychological harms, and they add to that argument by providing this board with credible studies to make that argument, and the board falsely labels the parents' arguments and wishes as attacks on education. This board falsely spun a narrative that we're all out there and that they feared for their lives. There's not a whole lot of people that actually know this, but I believe that some of the board previous members that resigned were actually under threat of lawsuit, and that's why they resigned. There's a lot of underhanded tactics here, and I just plead with you to please listen to the parents that have gotten up here and spoken. It's very clear that with this national incident management system, at best is an intimidation tactic for Coeur d'Alene parents and community, so that they might fear to get up here and speak. But I'm not afraid, and I will not quit voicing my opinion and exercising my First Amendment right. And it is very vague. How do you define a domestic incident? One of the points that actually wasn't spoken about is federally directed facilities for certain things. Well, what does that mean, a federally directed facility? I mean, are we going to have a COVID camp at the fairgrounds, or during the Omicron outbreak? I mean, what does this all
Mr.
mean?
Neal, that's 3 minutes. Thanks.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.